Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Z James. This is Z32 Workshop. And this beside the camera is some, let's say rare, is some 300ZX parts I want to do a comparison of, or at least do a graphical and show what you guys are going on. Because, awesome, I scored a very rare set of AAE Z32 exhaust manifolds. From what I could tell, let me show them to you guys here. This is going to be me kind of gushing over this stuff. Okay, in the center here is, everyone knows, AMS version 2s that are based off Mike Smith stuff, because that's what they did. I've already done a video of that. I'll link that down below if you want to see me do a quick comparison what these are. I wanted to show these as kind of a side-by-side comparison between these two, because that's what was going on during the time of development. There is a very significant and lengthy twinturbo.net, and I can't say that one, but I'll throw it down below, conversation about these that kind of blew up over a decade ago, on these conversations about what's going on. As you can see, cylinders 1 and 2 have a much longer runner stick out than this. These are for the AAEs. These, from what I can tell from research, I'm not 100% sure, there's only about 7 or 10 sets of these ever made. These are the version 1s, from what I've been told, and from what I could see, that's the case. These are meant to work with factory locations and everything like this. The guy who made these is up out of Minnesota. He did his own development at the time Mike Smith was doing his, and that was prior to AMS, unfortunately, copying their stuff and mass producing these guys on it. As you can see, there's some very significant differences between these two sets. Third ones, I would show you what the factory ones look like on top of this, and I will for whatever I put in here on my car. I'm torn on either using these or using these at the moment. I've heard not necessarily the best reputation for AMS stuff. Exhaust manifolds cracking. That's all I heard. AAE stuff I thought was mythical, and I'd never see a set. I'm going to be straight honest with you on that. Because I knew he made them. Everyone who had them is probably still using them, type of thing. I scored these luckily for a very nice price, not out of line, because Mike Smith performance ones, when they were new, which these are based off, were $800 and some new. The last set I saw get sold from Concept Z a few years ago, and my age might be, they sold it for like $1,500, I think, which is astronomical. That was a lot of money for Mike Smith stuff, and they're good. I'm not saying they're not, because there's debate on whether which ones are better and which ones are proven. I'm not going to dive into that. I do know that the factory ones on the factory heads flow. There's a bunch of settings you got to do. These flow about 150 CFM under certain conditions. These guys flow 170, 200. I'll throw it up on the screen because what they say. These guys should be somewhere similar to the Mike Smith ones, where there's some debate on what's going on here. Because yes, your flow runner coming here out of 1 is great, but you have the issue of mixing in your combustions between, cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You know what I mean? Because it's all coming down to the turbo location. Now, there are better stuff out there now for more modern turbos. Abeler Engineering comes to mind. He's doing fantastic work, but that's a V-band setup. That's not meant for factory turbos and factory locations. The first thing you'll see that these have been coated, so these are going to not rust. These have not been treated. You have to get these powder coated yet, and then maybe check the machine work on them, because I've heard not the greatest things. I put a straight engine. They seem pretty fine, to be honest with you. And then looking at the ports on all these, let's roll. I mean, at a first glance, you can see the big thing. These do not have provisions for heat shields. That's one thing these do not have at all. They don't have the standoffs for it. The other thing is I have already pre-weighed these guys, and the passenger side here this guy weighs 7 pounds, 11.8 ounces. This guy here weighs 8 pounds, 3.4 ounces. Now, surprisingly, you would think this would be less, but you can see where the machine working is being done here on doing some of this stuff, where they're just not the similar in that case. And the more I'm staring at this, the more I'm like, man, just seems off. But you got to raise this guy up quite a bit to get to that whole location. So yes, these are version, I've been told are version 1s. These guys here, this guy, the first one here is 9 pounds, 8.3 ounces, and 9 pounds, 3.3 ounces. So that being said, there are some differences here significantly on this. You can take a look, trying to see how these things play out for locations, import locations, on what's going on. These have got machine reliefs to get in to connect in. These do not. These are machines here, and it's a solid. So there's a lot of weight, chunky weight in here, so you need longer studs to make this work. Or short studs here on the AMS ones. So you know what I'm getting at? Because that's just how this is. Now, if you roll these over to take a look at the ports on these look bigger. I'll get my caliper out. So let's do this. This is going to be a pseudo in-depth, not 100% on what's going on. But you can also see where there would be weight savings too on the AAE ones. See this bridge right here? They don't have that. That's through. This is the same way. So let's take a look at these. So this guy here on this port right there is sitting at, my caliper's got that reading at, if you're looking at it in centimeters, or millimeters, I should say, you're looking about 30, 36, 37, right? Lock that in, compare it to this guy here, and it's bigger. The ports on the AMS ones are definitely larger. Now they're for the most part pretty consistent. The ports here on the version 1s from AAE, not so much. That's the case. What else could I say about these? Let's see here. Let's take a look at the other side, see if that's the same way. So the ports on the AMS version 2s is definitely bigger. Let's roll this on over here. And I gotta believe the same issue continues on, because these are monster ports here. So if you look at this guy, and those are about the same everywhere. Whereas these guys are definitely smaller. And they're smaller by, let's undo my stuff here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm not doing too jacky wonky around. Ballpark, that is 34 millimeters. So this is several millimeters bigger. I mean, if this is 37, that's 3 millimeters. That's quite significant. That being said, you got to match it to the heads. This right here, these being larger, does not necessarily indicate being better if you don't do cylinder head work. I'm going to get into some flow characteristics here, or understanding the Z32. Basically, the head ports, these I'm assuming are probably more matched to the existing heads. So when you have flow, air coming into this, you don't have a disturbance where it expands unevenly, whereas this might be larger. Now that being said, you could spend the money to get your heads machined to open up the throats on the exhaust ports on the head to get this larger. And then that would definitely give you, see an increase, because you don't want any turbulence coming into this. And that's where the difference is at. And that's where, if you look at the stuff 10 years ago, the conversations, that's where everyone was kind of at. Like I said, I'm not diving into that. That's not what this video is about. I don't want to hash old stuff. I'm just showing you the differences between them and what's going on. So yes, my big thing is the location of this is quite significant. That is giant. I am really concerned about that. That seems way off to me. I don't understand how that works. Because these ports, look, these holes, holes, that is vastly different. I need to take a look at my heads when I get a chance to see what's going on there. That just seems way big. I don't know if there's a bracket here. I mean, you can see the machine work. I don't get it. Maybe someone in the comments can hit me up and explain what's going on there. That is very odd to me. I don't quite get that. I'm not 100%. So, okay, yep, kind of a long video on what these are. what's going on. I bought them to put in my car, or actually at least document them, because like I said, these, as I could tell, are, I would say, unobtainium. He only made a few. He made a couple sets. As far as I could tell, I haven't reached out to him, and maybe I might get some more research and do another video on it, because this stuff's out there. He ended up having 4 versions. AAE had 4 versions of these. The first version is meant more for the factory style setup, where you just leave everything in the factory location. His design goals were to change the location of the turbo to get a better inlet difference, and that's the version 2s for sure, which means you change with the inlet piping and the exhaust piping, which I'm not saying he didn't get gains. That's a very niche market. It's the reason why they didn't sell too many, unfortunately. That was his different goals than what Mike Smith was doing, and definitely what AMS is doing, which is just a copy of his stuff. There are several manifolds out there that were done. I will try to throw a list at the bottom of the ones I know that were done. There's tubular designs. They tend to crack. I don't know how well those were. I do know someone who did do an extensive testing on it. I don't want to ask him to share. He doesn't want to stir up stuff. I'm just, because he was designing stuff for his own application and did a ton of research on his own. But these do look amazing. The only thing I got to see difference is that guy right there seems weird to me. I'm assuming you got to have something. I don't get this. And that's the only thing I gotta say about that. So yeah, that's me being excited for manifolds that I will probably I'm going to sell one of the two. I don't need both. One of them needs to go away. That's just how life is. I don't need both hanging around. But it's interesting to see that one of them has larger ports, which is good, but also can disrupt turbulence. And there's some stuff in there in that aspect. I'll throw the list of stuff I can see between Polar Engineering stuff, which is amazing, which is going to outperform these quite a bit because they just use V-band modern turbos. He spent a ton of time engineering those. Not saying AAE didn't or Mike Smith. Both those guys did a fantastic job. Independent guys doing their own work, getting foundry stuff made, because all these are cast, so they're very heavy, hence the poundage difference. You're not going to get lightweight without doing because of the heat and where the location's at. God, I hope I'm rambling here. If anyone's got any questions about these, please ask me. I am in awe of this stuff. This stuff's amazing to me. I'm kind of geeky about it. I just need to know what I want to do for myself. As much as I want to use the AAE one, I'm not leaning against it because I get the heat shields that I kind of want to use for the AMS version 2s. But I do like the niche having AAE ones. I don't know. I'll have to decide for myself what's going on with them and how I want to proceed. But I just think this stuff's amazing to see. All right, take care, everyone. I'll see you. Oh, please like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. See you next video if you guys have any questions. Take care. Bye.